Did you know that you can't grow a sweet potato the same way you would be able to grow a regular potato? Most people think you can just take a sweet potato, plant it in the ground, and it will grow sweet potatoes. But if you do that, things won't turn out the way you were hoping. Hi everyone, if you are new here and you are wanting to grow food for yourself and your family, you are in the right place. Today we're going to go through the process of growing sweet potatoes together. In this video, I will show you exactly how to grow sweet potatoes. I'm going to walk you through the entire process so that you can grow food for your family. For a sweet potato, you are going to have two different options on how you want to start the process. Sweet potatoes create slips, and you can see them here. They create little vines that come out of the potato, and that's what you're going to be planting. So you can do this two ways. You can take a mason jar, fill it up with water. I usually use a pint, but this is just what I had handy. I use a wide mouth pint. You can fill it up with water and put a sweet potato in the water and allow it to grow roots and slips. What I've done is take seed starting mix, and I filled a lasagna tray basically with the seed starting mix, and I planted 4 sweet potatoes in here, put them under the grow lights, and just watered it every couple of days. Now I was away, I was on a work trip, and these got a little bit out of control. You really only need the slips to be about 5 to 6 inches. It got a little bit away from me. In the past 2 years, I've always grown the sweet potatoes in water. This year, because it's my first year starting plants from seed, I have a grow station, and I was like, you know what, let me try it. And for me, putting it under the grow lights was so much easier. Before, I had the mason jar of water with a sweet potato right by the kitchen window, and that worked all right, but this process was much faster and less work in my opinion. So after a few weeks, you will get the sweet potato slips or vines, and you're just going to take them off of the plant. Don't worry about it, it's not going to damage the plant. When you pull them off, it actually sometimes promotes more growth. So you're going to go ahead and take off a few of them. There you go. And we are going to put these in some water. I want to show this one. If you could see there are roots coming through as well. And I'm just going to gently twist this right off. So there you go. Now here are the sweet potato slips I've pulled off, and you can actually see this one already has roots growing on it, which is really cool. What I'm gonna do is just remove the lower leaves, because we are going to put all of these sweet potato slips in water. And so I don't want the leaves to be under the water level, because that will cause them to end up rotting, and we don't want that. So I'm gently pulling off the bottom leaves. If I miss 1 or 2, it's okay, but I will try to get as many as possible. And here is a mason jar. This is a pint-sized jar with a wide mouth, and we're just gonna put the slips in there. Don't think that you need to go online and purchase sweet potato slips for $30 from someone. You can go to your local supermarket and you can get sweet potatoes there. I get organic where I can, because that's one of my goals, is to eat as much organic produce as possible. But it's really important if you're growing regular potatoes or sweet potatoes to get organic, because they oftentimes will spray a growth inhibitor on the non-organic potatoes and non-organic sweet potatoes, so that they don't sprout eyes and they don't grow slips. So you really want to do your best to get organic. Again, you're making sure that you take the bottom leaves off so that they don't end up underneath the water and molding. I'm more than likely not going to plant all of these, but I've got friends who I can share with, and I may also post on the Nextdoor app and share with some neighbors. My only problem, which I'm really sad about, is that I bought 4 different types of sweet potatoes. One was like the purple Japanese one was a white one was an orange one, and I forget what the last one was. And I didn't make a note of which one was which. So it'll be a surprise when, I harvest my sweet potatoes. So it's super simple. We've got a bouquet of little sweet potatoes here. I am going to put them in the kitchen. I could put them under the grow light also, but I usually put them in the kitchen window. Now, in a couple of weeks, you are going to have this beautiful sight. You want the roots to be a few inches long. When they're a few inches long, they are ready to be planted. And the roots are really important because this is where the sweet potatoes will grow from. So the sweet potatoes are actually going to grow off of the roots, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. So you want strong, healthy roots. Now, what I did was I replaced the water every couple of days, because if you don't, you'll end up, it'll get a little bit of algae on the bottom, it'll get kind of slimy, and you want to keep these roots nice and healthy. So you'll replace the water every few days. Just so you know, all these leaves that I took off because I did not want them underneath the water, sweet potato leaves are edible, y'all. Can you believe it? They're edible. Oh my gosh. So there's no waste. You can saute them as you would spinach, and they're really yummy and healthy for you. And they're organic, so all the better, right? So be sure, if you're taking off any leaves, don't throw them out. You can compost them if you want, or you could saute them and have them maybe with your scrambled eggs in the morning. Waste not, want not. We'll move on to the next step in the morning. We are back. It is the next day, and I actually was speaking to a friend of mine yesterday who's one of my gardening buddies, and she's in zone 7, I believe, and she just realized as we were talking about sweet potato slips that she forgot to plant some. So I actually ended up sending her 3 of my rooted sweet potato slips. So I've got 2 left that I will plant, and then the rest of them, as they root, I'll plant some more in a week or so. So let's get to it. We've got 2 really beautiful slips. Look at those roots, really great root development. This one is further along than this one, but that's all right. And I have got a large pot here. Now you can do this 2 ways, well 3 ways I guess. Can use your raised beds like that one behind me and plant your sweet potatoes in a raised bed. You could plant them in ground should you choose, or you could plant them in pots. Now I choose large pots simply because it's easier for me to harvest them. If you put them in ground, you've got to get, one of those like pitchfork type things to dig them out. And I don't have the strength to do that. If you put them in your raised bed, you're obviously going to take up raised bed space, but you've also got to dig them out as well. So I like to use pots because I can tip them over and push out the soil and harvest them relatively easily. So we are going to use this large pot. Last year I used these fabric grow bags. They worked really well. I have a few that are available. These right now I have garlic in there. So for now we're going to fill up this one. Now I put in a drip irrigation system last year, and I have individual drip lines here that go into the grow bags and pots that I put along this raised bed. So I've already got one ready to go, and I currently have this about halfway full of soil from last year. So you can reuse your soil. Don't think you have to get new soil all the time. Reuse the soil that you've got and then add new soil and some fertilizers to it. Now this is potting soil. It is not raised bed soil. It is potting soil for literally for pots. So that's how I remember it, potting soils for pots. And this is from last year. Whenever there's a sale, I always get extra soil with whether raised bed or potting soil. And there was a sale at the end of the growing season last year, and I got a few bags. All right, oh, it smells so nice. Let me bring you in so you can see what this looks like. You can see that there are small pieces of wood and other organic material in here. This is specifically for pots. You don't want to put this in your raised bed because it's just going to be too dense and it won't work very well. But this is great for pots. I'm going to go ahead and use some more soil that I had last year, and then I'm going to mix it up. You may notice, a few weeks back I thought I sprained my wrist, but no, in fact I broke a small bone. So this has been really fun. I'm working one-handed. It is what it is, we're still making it work, but yeah. So at least it's purple, right? Purple's my favorite color. At least if you're going to wear a cast, have it be your favorite color. So we're on the mend. I've got a pile here from my sweet potato harvest last year. I literally just dumped the grow bags into this area right on top of cardboard. And so I'm just going to take some of this and put it in the pot here, just to fill it up. I have one more half bag of potting soil, and I do want to have one more pot. So I'm going to use that in the next pot just to refresh it a bit. I don't want to use it in this. So I'm going to fill this up a bit more just to give the sweet potatoes as much room as possible to grow. Now even the straw from last year is here, and I'm trying not to get too much of the straw in. It's fine if you get some, but I don't want it to be overloaded with straw. The straw will go on top as mulch. All right, now I'm going to mix this all up. There's some beautiful worms in here. And I'm mixing it so that the new potting soil is being mixed with the old. And you can see a few pieces of straw, and that's all right. It's not too much. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of fertilizer in here as well. I forgot some fertilizer in the rain, so that's unfortunate. Now we'll just mix this in a bit. One thing that is really important is to make sure you wet the soil. I don't need it soaked, but I want it to settle down so that there's no major air pockets. I have got 2 slips here, and I'm just going to plant one in this pot. So if I'm looking at both of them, I'm going to plant the one with the larger root structure. So I'm going to plant this one and put this one back in the water, bring it back inside, and give it more time to grow. Water and fertilizer have been added, and I'm just going to put this down pretty deep because you notice the roots form from the slip itself, right? And so you can put it pretty deep and allow all this to form roots. That will make for a stronger plant and also more sweet potatoes. So I'm putting it pretty deep, making sure that the roots go in all the way, and backfilling. It's so cool to see all these little creatures, worms in here. It's really awesome. I'm a lefty, y'all, so it's really a challenge having a broken hand because I always forget not to use it. All right, so I'm pressing down. Just makes it easier to press it with my hands. All right, and that is it. We've got a nice large pot. I have my drip irrigation on a schedule, so water will flow through it every couple of days. And as it's still new, I will come out and water as needed. We are currently in a heat wave. We're in Northern California, if you're new here, zone 9B, but it has been in the 80s and it's only March. It's kind of crazy. So there you have it. We have our first sweet potato slip in the ground. I'm very happy because this is the earliest I've ever planted. We're past our last frost date. This next week is going to be in the 80s, as I mentioned. And, you know, things might cool down again, but they are not going to go down past 55 or so degrees. Sweet potatoes love heat. So this is a summer loving crop. It's going to take at least 90 days, 90 to 120 days for you to see a harvest. So be aware of that. This is more of a crop for very long summers. Or if you have a greenhouse, you can get started in a greenhouse as well. When they grow, you'll see more leaf growth. It'll cover the area. It's going to be really, really beautiful. Sweet potato leaves, as I mentioned, are edible, so you can eat them as well. I like to just let the plants go. I don't pick any leaves. I just let them grow as much as possible. And when they are ready, you're going to start seeing flowers forming. The flowers forming on the vines lets you know that the tubers are developing and it's almost time to harvest. Again, 90 to 120 days, so 3 to 4 months before you're going to get a harvest. So for those of you in warm zones, sweet potatoes are for you. If you've got a shorter summer, this is not really the crop. Stick with regular potatoes. All right, I hope this was super helpful for you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Feel free to click on the link above and watch another video. And I'll see you in the next video. Happy gardening, everyone.